What if your tiredness is not weakness, but a sign you're feeding something you didn't choose? Every restless night, every distracted scroll, every sigh before sleep, not just life being hard, but life being quietly taken. Stay with me. From your first breath, subtle siphons wrapped around your mind, beliefs, screens, conflicts, endless noise. Drip by drip, your life force turned into currency, not for you, but for them. Look around, a world wired to keep you scattered and drained. Headlines spark fear, notifications break your focus. Politics turns outrage into profit. Cities hum with tension that keeps you too restless to remember who you really are. But what if you could see the strings and cut them? Because once you see how your energy is harvested, you can reclaim every drop. This is not just a truth, it's your quiet revolt. Take a breath, it begins now. You may think money runs this world, but look closer. Money is only a token. The true currency that fuels every empire, every algorithm, every quiet corridor of power is your attention. Your focus is life force in motion. It is the spark that animates thought into action, intention into creation. Where you place it, reality reshapes itself. This is why the world around you has been meticulously engineered to keep you scattered, splintered, and perpetually distracted. Every headline is a hook, every ping of your phone a subtle tug at your mind's leash. Even the spaces you inhabit, your desk, your commute, your bedroom, are designed to bleed your concentration drop by drop. You tell yourself you are multitasking, staying informed, connected. But the truth is, you are being harvested. Consider this. For every moment you surrender your focus to a screen that feeds you outrage, gossip, or endless entertainment, you are paying with the most precious resource you will ever own. Not dollars, but the very minutes that make up your one brief life. Look around. News feeds bait your outrage because anger glues your eyes to the drama. Social platforms drip dopamine through likes and shares, training your brain like a lab rat pressing a lever for a treat. Notifications erupt like fireworks, conditioning you to flinch, to check, to abandon the present moment again and again. This is not an accident. Those who study human psychology, advertisers, tech giants, media moguls, understand what ancient mystics knew. Where attention goes, energy flows. And so they craft digital playgrounds that harvest your attention in tiny, relentless bites until you collapse at day's end, wondering where the hours went and why you feel so empty. And it goes deeper. When your focus is fractured, your power is diluted. A distracted mind cannot dream boldly, love deeply, or create fearlessly. It becomes reactive, anxious, easy to influence. In this state, you are not a sovereign being, you are a resource. But what happens when you reclaim the throne of your awareness? When you withdraw it, drip by drip, from the petty arguments, the panic headlines, the scroll holes that leave you numb, you begin to remember, your focus is not cheap, it is sacred. It deserves to nourish you, not feed a machine. Imagine directing it toward learning a skill that frees you from a job you despise, or pouring it into art that heals not just you, but everyone who sees it, or simply resting it fully in this moment, unburdened by past or future. This is not impossible. It begins with noticing. Notice how often your mind is tugged away from where you are. Notice who profits each time you're baited into outrage or envy. Notice how your body feels after an hour lost to scrolling. Then, decide to become stingy with your focus. Guard it like the royal treasury it is. Spend it wisely, on people who lift you, on work that fulfills you, on silence that repairs you. In a world that feeds on your distraction, a calm, centered mind is an act of quiet rebellion. And with each moment you reclaim, the system that harvests you grows weaker. This is how the cycle begins to break, not by force, but by refusal. Fear has always been the oldest tool of control. Not the primal fear that saves your life in moments of danger, but the chronic, dripping fear that keeps you on edge day after day until your spirit bends beneath its weight. Look at the architecture of your daily life. Breaking news banners flash red and urgent. Headlines warn of threats near and far. Leaders whisper of enemies at the gates. Even entertainment feeds you stories of disaster and apocalypse dressed up as harmless thrill. This fear does not protect you, it freezes you. It hijacks your mind and pins your body in a constant hum of stress. Under its influence, your breath shortens, your decisions shrink, and your dreams curl in on themselves like frightened animals. Here's what most never see. Fear is energy, but misdirected. It narrows your vision to what is immediately threatening and robs you of the clarity to see the larger design. When fear is constant, your nervous system never fully returns to calm. Cortisol floods your cells, exhausts your adrenals, clouds your judgment. You become easy to shepherd, easy to sell to, easy to silence. Why does a fearful mind obey so easily? Because it clings to any promise of safety, even if that safety is just a new product, a stronger lock, another vote cast in the same rigged game. Fear locks you into survival mode, where reflection, creativity, and rebellion cannot take root. But here is your quiet power. Fear cannot thrive in the light of awareness. It festers in the shadows of your subconscious, fed by constant input you rarely question. When you pause and truly look at it, ask, whose fear is this? Who benefits if I hold this panic? You begin to loosen its grip. Not every threat is real. Not every warning deserves your focus. Some are distractions dressed as concern, carefully crafted to keep you small and obedient. When you stop taking the bait, the fog begins to lift. Imagine a life where fear visits only when truly needed, when it is your ally, not your jailer. Where your mind rests calm, your decisions come from vision, not dread. Where you respond rather than react. This is not fantasy. It is a choice made moment by moment, breath by breath. Begin with a simple act. Filter what you consume. Not every headline deserves your mind. Not every crisis is yours to carry. Turn off the noise that thrives on your fear and notice how quickly your shoulders drop, how deeply your lungs fill. Next time fear rises, sit with it. Ask it questions. Demand proof. Strip it of its costume until you see whether it is a messenger of truth or just another puppet in the theater designed to drain you. In a world addicted to your anxiety, your calm is power. Your clarity is rebellion. And each time you choose courage over panic, you steal back a piece of your stolen energy. To keep a people subdued, you do not need fences, you need fractures. Division is the oldest magician's trick. While you are busy fighting your neighbor, you never notice the puppet master who built the stage. From the moment you arrived in this world, you were given labels like a uniform: your nationality, your race, your beliefs, your political team, your tribe. You grew up believing these are who you are, sacred boundaries to defend at all costs. And so, you learned to draw lines in your mind. Us and them, right and wrong, winner and loser. Look closer. Every fight over who is right, every argument over which side is good or evil, feeds the same hungry machine: distraction. While you pour your life force into defending an idea of yourself, you have no energy left to question the system that taught you to fight in the first place. Politics is the perfect stage for this drama. Each election, you are offered two choices wrapped in grand promises. You choose, you argue, you cheer, or despair. But the machinery behind the curtain never changes. The wealthy remain protected, the powerful grow more powerful, and you are left exhausted, certain that you must simply try harder next time. It does not stop at politics. It seeps into your identity, your consumer choices, even your entertainment. You pick a side, a brand, a team, a belief, and your loyalty becomes energy. Each outrage, each defense, each debate siphons more of your focus. Meanwhile, those who design the game grow rich on your conflict. What if you paused and asked, who would I be without these labels? What if you stepped back far enough to see that the real battlefield is not between red and blue, east and west, this belief or that, but between your awareness and the illusions cast to divide it? Division weakens the soul. It shrinks your sense of humanity to the boundaries of a flag or the lines of a faith. It blinds you to the simple truth. Beneath the labels, you and the stranger you were told to hate, share the same fears, the same dreams, the same untapped power to rewrite the story. Reclaiming this energy does not mean abandoning your culture or denying your values. It means loosening your grip on the identity cages you were handed and refusing to let them dictate who is worthy of your empathy. It means refusing to be baited into arguments that never end, while the world's true architects remain unseen. Every ounce of passion you once spent defending your label can become fuel for something greater. Connection that transcends tribe, solutions that rise above sides, a mind free enough to ask, who profits from my division? When you no longer feed the illusion, it crumbles. And when enough of us lay down our borrowed flags and stand simply as humans, the game changes. Because unity is the one thing the system fears most. A divided people fight each other. A united people see clearly and reclaim what was always theirs. You were not born for cubicles and concrete, yet here you are. Taught to worship the grind, to trade your mornings for a paycheck and your nights for fleeting distractions that numb you just enough to repeat it all tomorrow. Modern life is sold as progress. Shining towers, endless connectivity, conveniences at your fingertips. But beneath the glow, a quiet truth hums. The system's ease is a cage disguised as comfort. Start with work. Generations ago, work was seasonal, woven into the rhythms of nature. Now the 40-hour work week, which so easily becomes 50, 60 more, devours the best hours of your days. You rise before dawn, commute through metal rivers of cars, sit under flickering lights answering demands that rarely feed your soul. At the end, you're paid just enough to stay alive, but never enough to break free. And so exhaustion drives you into the next trap, consumption. The system feeds on your fatigue. Too tired to cook? Order in. Too drained to think? Stream mindless entertainment. Feel empty inside? Buy something shiny. Your wariness is a marketplace. Every swipe of your card is another drop of life force sold back to you in plastic wrapping. Cities, they tell you, are where dreams come true, yet concrete jungles hum with invisible stress. Traffic snarls, blaring sirens, neon signs blinking insomnia into your bones. Skyscrapers block the sun that could heal you. Screens replace the rivers and trees that once reminded you how simple being alive could feel. Even your sleep is stolen. Blue light from your devices confuses your brain, caffeine props up your exhaustion, alarm clocks tear you from shallow rest before your cells can repair. Modern life is not just busy, it is designed to keep you just awake enough to work, just tired enough not to rebel. But there is another layer, the lie that more is better. More gadgets, more obligations, more status symbols. This more chokes your closets, crowds your calendar, clutters your mind. Instead of feeling rich, you feel trapped, in debt, in comparison, in the fear of losing what you barely even wanted. Ask yourself, when was the last time you sat in silence with no screen, no plan, no noise? When did you last feel unrushed, barefoot on earth, owned by no clock but the sun's slow arc? This is not nostalgia for a primitive past. It is a remembering that life outside this cage is still possible. The walls of this modern prison are not built of steel. They are built of habits, beliefs, and the stories you've been sold about what success should look like. Each time you pause to question, to step outside the script, a crack appears in the concrete. Freedom doesn't come all at once. It comes in choices. To simplify, to unplug, to say no. To trade a piece of convenience for a piece of your soul returned. With each small rebellion, you remember, you were not born to feed a machine. You were born to live, deeply, wildly, and free. Now that you see the quiet thieves, distraction, fear, division, the relentless grind, you may wonder, how do I take it back? Awareness alone cracks the cage, but daily practice swings the door wide open. First, reclaim your focus. Guard it as fiercely as your breath. Turn off notifications that ping your mind into fragments. Limit the news that sells you terror disguised as information. Choose when you check, what you feed your thoughts. Your mind was not built for constant alerts. It was built to dream, to imagine, to solve what truly matters. Next, tame fear, not by denying it, but by exposing it. Whenever you feel that familiar tightness in your chest, pause. Breathe slow and deep. This simple act signals your body that you are safe. Ask yourself, is this fear real right now, or is it a ghost from a headline, a worry you inherited, a nightmare someone profits from? Name it. Question it. Fear shrinks when you face it in the light. Then, dissolve false divisions. Notice when you're pulled into arguments that drain your energy but change nothing. Ask, what if I simply refuse to pick a side in this fight? What if my compassion extends beyond the lines I was taught to defend? The energy you save when you stop defending borrowed identities becomes power to build your own truth. Step outside the grind when you can. Simplify your life. Look at your clutter, physical and mental. What do you keep out of habit, out of fear of letting go? Each unnecessary thing costs you care and attention. Clear a drawer, a corner, a day on your calendar. Freedom grows in empty space. Most importantly, reconnect with the real world beneath the asphalt and screens. Nature does not demand your energy, it restores it. Walk barefoot if you can. Let the sun find your skin. Listen to wind in the trees instead of endless noise. This is not idle luxury. This is maintenance for the soul. And create, not for likes or applause, but for the sheer rebellion of it. Paint, write, build, garden, sing. Acts of creation remind the machine that you are more than a consumer. Creation is where stolen energy becomes sovereign again. Start small. You do not need to renounce your life or vanish into the woods, though sometimes that sounds tempting. True freedom begins in everyday moments, saying no to what drains you, yes to what revives you. Choosing stillness over noise, choosing presence over panic. As you practice, you may notice something subtle yet profound. The machine loses its appetite when you stop feeding it your attention, your fear, your conflict, your exhaustion. It needs your unconscious agreement to thrive. Withdraw that, and you starve it gently, quietly, and forever. Remember, your energy is not infinite, but it is renewable when you guard it wisely. Each choice to protect it is an act of love for the life only you can live. This is not a one-time liberation. It is a daily devotion to living awake, aware, and unafraid. Now you've seen it, the hidden drains disguised as progress, the noise that feeds on your calm, the fear that feeds on your power. You were never meant to be harvested. Your energy is sacred, and it obeys only you. Every headline you ignore, every petty fight you leave behind, every breath you guard, these small refusals are quiet revolutions. Freedom lives in each choice to soften the fear, silence the noise, create instead of consume, and walk outside the cage you were told was home. And when enough of us remember this, a deeper shift begins. Awake minds cannot be governed by fear. A soul that knows its worth cannot be drained by a system built to keep it tired. So pause, breathe, feel your aliveness untaxed, unstoppable. Tomorrow the noise will come, but you will see it clearly. Your light is yours alone. Guard it well and watch the world adjust.